way to go. Here we go. If we ever get a chance to get out of this parking lot, had to stop for gas this morning. There we go. Now we got a red light coming that way, and there's our trucks. Away we go. Up we go into the trees over yonder. It's a lovely gray day in the greater Seattle area. Hey, good morning, Jerry. Hope you're having a good morning. Hi, Larry. Good morning. Coming down off the hill, and we got a gray day. Hey, Eddie. Hopefully your day's going well too. You're sending? Okay. Hi, Karen. Yeah, it's actually not bad. It was a very cold night, but and I expected frost on the window this morning, but it had warmed up a bit. Uh, so it's not raining, but it, um, but it's definitely gray. And although the rain isn't as bad as everybody says it is, the gray definitely is the common occurrence. Yeah, that was wild last night. The chat was flying. Yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, I don't go to any of these huge creators. You're the biggest one I ever hang out at, but so I don't know if it gets any worse than that, but that was pretty wild. Yeah, it was hard to keep track. Of course, 99% of the time I'm watching on my phone, so you've only got a small window of chat log space to go to watch it go by. Uh, but yeah, it was hard to keep up. But it was a good live. It's always fun. All right, we're going to get over here. He was grabbing every one every here and there. I think it was just moving too fast for everybody. Um, Sunday night running that Mars live was, you guys were only seeing one side or the other, either the vertical or the horizontal. And on my chat log on the computer, I was seeing both sides of the chat. So we had like 30 people in the horizontal, and we had 24 in the vertical. Well, that's a plus. At least that's how it works in our house. All right, I got to get over a couple of lanes here. There we go. Yeah, you guys do kind of do a double show. I try to keep my mouth shut so I don't interrupt her. I'm I'm too close and within range of throwing stuff, so I need to put in an enclosed control booth that I at least feel safer. Oh, she's done it, but I just recently I've tried to stay in the background on her live so I don't interrupt her. And she's been complaining and finally told me I had to turn my mic on. And I really don't input that much into that show, but yeah, knives and pots and pans. During Halloween, we had those emotional support ghosts, and one of those came, or a couple of times those came flying. Just let it be the Susan show. Oh, that's a little ridiculous. I guess now we've got people back jumping in the carpool lane that don't belong here. Yeah, try for spam. At least you guys saved the wheel Sunday night. I don't know what she was thinking. I mean, that's kind of everybody kind of tunes in for that, and she's talking about changing the format. I know this next week is going to be different because she's going to do a quote unquote Thanksgiving dinner, um, and then we'll go back to the regularly scheduled wheel the following week. Oh, it came close Sunday night. I had a bucket sitting next to me. Although I have no sense of smell, if something is very pungent, I can taste it. Well, you'll get a chance this next week. We've got it's actually gonna be kind of cool the way she's gonna set it up. So you'll actually get to see the whole thing. How we kind of did a couple of pre-recorded segments this week. She's going to do that with spatchcocking and brining uh, and then at the last during the live she'll prep the last couple of dishes and pull the turkey out of the oven. Uh, so it should turn out pretty cool. And every week I'm getting better with the cameras. I got about three-quarters of the way through the show before I completely lost control of it again. And I'm not sure what I'm doing that's causing that, but I'm in constant contact with Nearstream to figure out what it is I'm doing wrong that causes that. And they're really awesome. I mean, although we had the problems in the beginning, which was an email issue on their end, they had been trying to respond to my emails, but for some reason couldn't hit my email account. And when we finally got in contact, I mean, they even it was a day late, a dollar short, but gave me pre-knowledge of the Black Friday sale. So if I wanted to wait till the 25th, and I'll let you guys know since you're here, if you want a new camera and want one like this, they're going on sale on the 25th. Uh, and the problem was I had one was mirrored, and when I went to unmirror that one, which I was able to do, it caught one of the other ones, and that's when it all went downhill because that other one went backwards. And then every time I tried to get into the menu, which would normally only light up on the camera I was trying to hit the menu on. Um, because I have a big monitor in front of me that shows all four cameras. I can normally light up the menu on, we've got four cameras. They're numbered 1 through 4, and if I need the menu on number 2, I can light up the menu on number 2, and I can see it on my monitor. But every time I hit the menu, you guys may have seen it pop up on the screen because it was popping up the menu on everything. With the ability to have preview and program. Yeah, basically my screen shows up preview and program on the top, and then all four cameras below that, and then I've got audio and it's in a 32-inch TV that I'm looking at 4 feet in front of me. So I really have pretty good control over what's going on, and once I get these cameras nailed down, it's going to be awesome. Um, and then once I lost control, then everything went sideways. I was when we started, I was centered on the table, and then that one popped a little bit off frame, and I couldn't bring it back. And then the one went when the one went mirrored, I fixed that, but the other one went mirrored. Yeah, it all kind of went sideways, but I'll figure it out. It's fun. Hi, Bird. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. it was a fun show. Running them on both vertical and horizontal was a little crazy on my end. Um, uh, but but it worked out well. I mean, that's the biggest show we've had. Oh, how Simon became a mod? The reason we did that is because he's a solid troll hunter. Katie and you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen She Cooks and Roasts. When she goes vertical, the trolls that attack her are just absurd. I mean, she when she's vertical, she'll get 300 people in the chat, and 99% of them are under 14 and trolls. And so, Katie and I, and there's a couple others that help. But I mean, I made time out 300 people during one of her lives, and Katie's right there with me attacking them. So I had Katie in there, and I was concerned, although it was later at night, so there shouldn't have been any kids. I was concerned that we could get a barrage of trolls in there, and that's why he was bumped up to help with the troll coverage. Oh, Simon timed you out? I missed that. Yeah, like I said, I was in order to run both sides and the cameras and everything else. I was struggling just to keep up. Oh yeah, no, I know. Hi, dear. Hey, Matt. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Yeah, it was a fun show. I mean, it was kind of crazy, but it was fun, and it all went well. And the more we do, the better I'll get on the cameras. And yeah, except for her choking problem, she's still struggling to breathe from that. We'll have to get him in to get a spa day and get Bo's wings clipped so that he can't take off and sail around the house. I don't think Leroy would take him down, but Leroy's big enough to take him down. And there have been several times when he's flown from his cage in the living room and landed on my shoulder in the family room. That was before Leroy, though. Hi, Izzy. Thanks for coming in, honey. Hey, originally, when we got him, Rocky was supposed to be my bird, and Bo was because I like the big birds. I had a cockatoo a long time ago, um, Yeah, when we got him, Rocky was supposed to be mine, and Bobo was supposed to be Civi's. But when we got him home, it kind of they chose their human, and that's where it ended up. I can handle Rocky, and I don't believe Bo is trying to hurt her. He likes to grab on and rub his tongue or fingers and stuff. He doesn't bite hard. He doesn't draw blood. Hi Daisy, thanks for coming by. Uh, but she claims he's trying to eat her, so she doesn't mess with Bobo. And he may be biting her harder. I don't know. You know, there's no way for me to tell that. But Rocky definitely prefers her. Not see the blood kid. Yeah, but it's not like Rocky that can take a hand off. Yeah, but he didn't do it on purpose. All right, I got to get over away or two. Hi, Lucy. Thanks for coming in, honey. And actually, we trimmed Bobo's wings. Uh, we haven't in a long time because he doesn't get to come out much because of Leroy. I take him out when I clean his cage, but he's just right there with me. He's not out and about like Rocky gets to come out to the kitchen. Um, so he's not ignored, uh, but usually he figures out his wings are good before we do. We'll trim his wings, and somewhere in the 6 to 8 week range, he figures out he can fly again. Yeah, he's a funny little bird. He actually, if he was as vocal as Rocky, you guys would probably get a bigger kick out of him because he makes all kinds of noises. He's too stubborn to do anything we want him to do. I mean, grays are some of the smartest birds in the world are grays. Uh, but he doesn't. He won't pick up on any words you want him to. Yeah, yeah, he did do that. He was playing tennis. No, it was one of mine. He was standing on my shoulder, and I had a loose tooth. But he was poking around, playing with my mustache, and all of a sudden stuck his head clear in my mouth. And next thing I know, he took a tooth out. When I was a kid, but my dad died when I was 12. And before he passed away, we had a parakeet that every morning when my dad got up before he went to work, he had bread. Yeah, it was loose. It was gonna come out. I was gonna go to the dentist and have it removed. Um, uh, anyway, when my dad got up, he'd have eggs and bacon for breakfast, and this parakeet was free flowing in the house, but he stayed in the kitchen. And every morning he would get up and with my dad and have breakfast, and he would sit on my dad's fork and take bites of egg off my dad's fork. Uh, and that may have been, yeah, exactly. He saved me money going to the dentist. Anyway, that's kind of where my head was when it happened. I was thinking about that, and so I thought, well, he's just going to investigate. Next thing I know, he's poking around on the teeth, found the loose one, and it was gone. But I did just say, look at this silly bird sticking his head clear in my mouth. Probably. And the birds are cool. They're noisy as hell, and they're a big mess. But they're cool. I would never get a cockatoo again just because they're a pain in the butt. They're too smart for their own good. Told you so. Told you so. Wow. It's not. I know it's not a holiday today. I don't know why there's no traffic up here. Ray, thank you. So you know cockatoos are a pain in the butt, or at least she does. I think I've told the story on live about Coco opening the cage. We started out with a carabiner on there, even put it on with two crescent wrenches to really torque it down, and he could easily open that. Um, uh, and then when we put the key lock on it, he would, and the key was hanging on a chain right next to the cage, so obviously we wouldn't have to look for it if it was an emergency. And he would hang by his beak, grab the key with one foot, and grab the lock with the other foot, and engage the key and open the lock. So we put a combination lock on it, and he spent the rest of the time we had him with on her cheek. Yeah. He spent the rest of the time we had him. He'd hang by his feet, grab that combination lock, and twist the dial with his other foot. If he could have realized what he was doing, he could have opened that one too. and he'd run around the house, and he was clipped. We kept him clipped all the time, so he couldn't fly, but he would run around the house and chase you around and cuss you out, all kinds of funny stuff. Hey, she cooks. Thanks for coming by. Aren't you supposed to be live in about 8 minutes ago? Thanks for stopping in, though. I knew it. Sitting there waiting for you, and you're out lollygagging in other people's lives. Well, thank you, dear lady. I appreciate your time. Yes, lollygag. All right, let's get into this mess. Um, yeah, we can't get Bobo to say anything we want him to say, but he randomly picks up sounds. Uh, Sibby had a duck sound for a text noise for a long time, and not even for a long time, just for maybe a few weeks. But he can mimic Sibby. He's done that to me a few times. Uh, where I know she's at work, but I heard her in the living room. And he does mimic the cats, and he obviously does the doorbell and the beeper on the timer on the stove and the microwave. Although he doesn't do that one much because we really don't use the microwave much. Once in a blue moon, usually it's full of Ziploc bags. What's funny is that the dogs are have more interest in the birds than the cats do. Yeah, still have the three-legged bear running around town. He's over in Buckley now. Uh, what else is going on? What is with people? That's like her three children concierges all want Thanksgiving Day off. Well, one of you needs to be there. What if one of the little old people? And I don't understand how, if you're getting applicants for new dishwashers, how is it he's not getting applicants for new concierge? And why hasn't he replaced them by now? Just a thought, though. I don't understand these young these days. Actually, I have a theory, but I don't want to get in trouble with the world. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't get it. It's like remembering things. Finally told my apprentice, "Oh, you hired two new concierges? Why are these three children still there? That ringleader should be gone already." Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There should not be an on his way out. He should just be fucking gone. Pardon me. You know, you cut off the snake's head, and the other two will come in line. If they want to continue working at this place of employment, they need to step up. And are they so stupid to realize that there's a new one coming in, and it's not because you need another one, it's because one of them's going to get replaced? Well, that's kind of it, but that's not my theory. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't understand. More and more, I'm telling my apprentice, "What would you do if I wasn't here? Let's start trying to figure things out." Oh, okay. Um, so at least there is a light at the end of the tunnel. As long as the boss is bright enough to get rid of the ringleader first. Um, yeah, I keep asking him from now on, before you make the phone call to me, stop and think, what if I had to figure this out on my own? What would I do? What procedures have we gone through that you could solve this? And it's not that I'm not going to help you. It's not that I don't want to help you, but we need to start learning to how they don't remember anything. They don't have to remember anything. You know, growing up, if we learned something, we remembered it the rest of our lives, or 90% of it. These days, they don't have to remember anything. You need to know when the Panama Canal was built? Look it up on your phone. I don't need to remember that crap. You know, it just it doesn't. I don't get it. You know, at my age, my head is full of useless information. In my opinion, useless information. It's also full of a lot of useful information for what I have to have. You know, but the kids nowadays just I don't get it. And I'm sure my parents said the same thing about me, but not quite, but close to it. However, you know, when I said the GPS, it said it was going to be 2 hours up here, but it hasn't been. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. The cloud cover kind of has it partially blocked. There's this skyline out there. All right, and I have to remember to point out the space needle to Eddie. If he's still here. If he's not still here, he can watch it up the replay. I'll make a note and remind him that it's there. I just jinxed myself. I could get off on Surface Street and still make it there long before. Yeah, I know you're still here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Uh, uh, yeah, I could get off and go on Surface Street and still get up there quicker than what the GPS said I was going to get up here. I mean, it was talking about an hour from now. I think I'm probably seriously 35 minutes or so, even if traffic is bad. And we'll start working our way over because the two right lanes move better through this than the left lanes do. So there's 45 on the variable speed side. So we are still moving, but we're starting to slow down. So we'll get on over. All right. I'm kind of surprised that there's still this many leaves on the trees up here. More and more they're going, but with the recent windstorms we've been having and sending your way out to the Midwest and East Coast, I would have thought more of leaves would be gone. Man, Hey, Bulldog, thanks for stopping by, bud. Yep, it's every Tuesday I got to go up to the wound care center up in Seattle, and with traffic, it's about a 2 hour drive, give or take. But we are in South Seattle, headed towards downtown. And if you logged in 10 minutes ago, you might have seen me actually moving right along. We just hit Seattle, South Seattle's I-5 block. Uh, and the sad part is that this happens all day long through here. Because this is a 5 lane freeway right here, which collapses down to 2 lanes as it goes underneath the convention center in Seattle. However, we do go by the westernmost end of I-90, which is one of the east-west freeways that goes all the way across the country. It starts here and ends in Boston. Yes, you just keep believing that. Everybody believes it rains all the time in Seattle, and it doesn't, but it is gray all the time. We just get it first, unless you're talking about out on the coast. The coast gets a lot of rain. Forks, which is where they filmed. I can't remember the werewolf vampire series. Maybe it starts in Boston and ends there. You know, it was probably built in that direction. Now that you mention it. Twilight, yes, that's it. Twilight was filmed in Forks, which happens to be one of the wettest places in the world. It's right up there on the northeast coast of Washington, and yeah, they get a lot of rain up there. Um, but here in Seattle, we're actually between two mountain ranges, so most of the incoming rain off the Pacific Ocean dumps on the other side of the western mountain range. Hey, Gary, thanks for stopping in, bud. Uh, yeah, to the west of us is the Olympic Mountain Range, and then to the east of us is the Cascade Mountain Range. And so the clouds dump a lot of the water on the western side of the Olympic Mountain Range. So Seattle proper doesn't get as much rain as everybody thinks it does. But we just let the myth go along so people don't want to move here. Back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, we had a huge influx of California people that moved up here, and that's kind of when Seattle went in the dumper. Sorry, Bulldog. Probably actually had a lot to do with Microsoft up here. And back when I was in high school, the entire property where Microsoft currently sits in Redmond was called 80 acres, and it was a open treat area that everybody did. that's where we all went to have our keggers in high school. Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays suck for her. Uh, she actually has to cook on Monday and Tuesday. The rest of the time she spends running the show. But Monday and Tuesday she has to be there through dinner until the end, so she ends up getting home really late. All right, there we go. We'll flip back over by then I can take the advantage of all these people jumping off at the Swift Albroa exit. Just out of curiosity, what did you tell your new person? Yes, they can bug out early, or did you tell them no? It's too short a notice. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. You told her no, or of course not. You told her yes. Never mind. Oh, that works. Yeah, it'll cost you. Yeah, you can't pull that. Maybe yeah, even then, no. You got to go to the doctor or something, maybe. But either you knew about the appointment, or if you need to go immediately, you should go immediately and not come in and call in sick. Yeah, that doesn't work. This part of it, Gary, is pretty much always bad. This is 5 lanes of traffic that collapses down to 2 lanes. So this part of the traffic jam lasts all day. All right, now we got to start working our way back across so that I can be on the other side of the freeway when we get in position to be able to see the Space Needle for Eddie. And Eddie is probably busy doing something now because he hasn't said anything in a while. But there's people up there with a reader board. Well, with an invisible sign with orange letters on it. Let's see if I can read it. Stop ice rights. King County flow. 1-800 taken. Okay. All right, when we get up to the top of the hill, you can see there should be able to see a Space Needle off to the left. Yeah, but considering that they almost doubled your salary to go here, that's kind of hard to give up too. All right, off to the left as we come into this gap of trees, you can see the Space Needle poking up half of it anyway, out in the distance. And way out to the left, you can just see it poking up past the building as the van goes by. Yep. Well, hopefully the puppies don't give you trouble, honey. Yeah, low cloud cover. Little flashing blue lights, look just like Christmas. Thanks, Bulldogs, for stopping in. Have a good day, bud. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get more sleep. Although most days I don't have a problem. Although I end up too late. Uh, if need be, I can sleep in the places. Hi, Lee. That's a pretty trick screwdriver kit you got there, bud. Made me go look on Amazon to see if I could find one. Every time I buy one of those little five set screwdriver kits, the case breaks and they end up lost all over the house. Yeah, Anfeld rode me out in the loft. He put out a video yesterday about a new screwdriver kit that we got. I should say precision screwdriver kit that we got. And inevitably, everybody needs tiny screwdrivers now. And that was a really cool kit because it comes with straight Phillips, Torx. I can't remember what else, but all right, I got to start working my way out to the right. There we go. There's one lane. Got to get one more. Okay, we made it. All right, we got about another mile, and I can grab my exit. And we're coming up on the beginning or the end of I-9. But Gary is probably correct. It probably started in Boston and ended out here. Considering that's where Lewis and Clark started a few years back. Probably the same way that the freeway. All right. We got the baseball stadium open. Both of our stadiums are right here, baseball, and then right next to it is the football stadium. And the baseball stadium has a sliding roof so that they can open it on nice days and close the roof on rainy days. They also open it on rainy days when there aren't games to water the grass. And that far right lane was the on ramp onto I-9. Sparkly lights up there. That's a little weird. I can't see what it is yet. I just see the flashing red lights. So it's either fire department or medic one or ambulance or something like that up there on the hill. There you go. Mariners almost made it to the. I was going to say Super Bowl, but that ain't it. Oh, I'm losing it. Help! My brain cells just ran amok. World Series. That was it. One game. They had to win one game. Wait a minute. Where'd all those sparkly lights go? Yeah, I know. I'm beyond help. Dun dun dun. Incorrigible. Yeah, I'm about 3 steps above that, according to Susan. Oh, there they are. I found them. That looks like a fire engine. But all right, now I got to get over a couple lanes again. And one more, and we're good. There we go. Making progress. And we are half an hour ahead of 197. You know, you set the GPS, and that's the time to be. And it said 8:41. So, well, I don't. The only time I come up here, Gary, is Tuesday. I mean, they could. I could literally run into somebody, and have them say the Beatles are getting back together, and I go, "That's awesome! When and where?" They'd say next week, and Seattle, and I'd say, "Never mind." I don't come into Seattle unless I have to. Yeah. No, I didn't. But we also really didn't make Seattle. We only made SeaTac or kind of Tukwila. But even when it was a possibility we could end up at the Seattle 13 coins, I was willing. Because until like the last couple of days, we didn't know if you were going to be in a hotel in Seattle that we were going to meet you from, or if we were going to meet you down south by the airport. Hey, Marines and Army Mom, thanks for coming in, honey. Big bumps. Ah, yes, the wonderful tax dollars of Seattle at work. Hey, Juliet, thanks for stopping by, honey. Although we're almost at the end here for this one, we'll have another one coming back about 11. Uh, but we are almost to the end of this drive. God, I'm sure of it now. Seattle found no right turn on red signs on sale, and they put them up everywhere. You know, usually you'd only see those on blind corners when you can't see traffic coming the other way. They also put one up at this next stoplight, which is even sillier because, let me explain this, it makes sense. At this next stoplight, to the right is a 2-lane road. To the left is a 1-lane road going downhill. So you can't, there would be no traffic coming uphill. And so now I'm stuck here until the light turns green. Even though, yes, it's a blind corner, but there's no traffic coming uphill. That's just stupid. Uh, yeah, I mean, they certainly must have. Yeah, it really doesn't bother me, Gary, because uh, I mean, for basically 50 years, I've been on the road. You spend an hour driving someplace and then spend 15 minutes fixing it, and then spend an hour driving someplace and spend 15 minutes fixing it. And that's how my whole day goes. When I'm out working in the field, that's what it's like. Um, so the traffic really doesn't bother me. It sucks. Traffic always sucks, but anyway, guys, we're about to hit the parking garage, so this is going to bring this to an end. Thank you all for being here. I love you, and we'll see you again about 11 o'clock when we head back southbound. Bye, everybody.